In this video, we will be performing the step-by-step method for Robox cable terminations and controls wire management. The process is easiest if done at the time of Robox installation, but can be done after the Robox has been installed. Prior to starting, ensure the following. Robox is secured onto the torque tube in correct location. The antenna bracket is installed to torque. The antenna is installed and torqued to the bracket, and the controls PV panel is securely installed. Installing the antenna cable. The first connection is the antenna cable. Before installing the cabling, verify that the retention nut is on the correct side and the antenna is securely installed using a 3/4 box wrench. Ensure the antenna is above the seismic cabling before securing. If cabling is not currently installed at the time of wire management, mechanical will need to install seismic cable under any control cabling. The antenna cable has a pin in the center that aligns with the female port on the antenna. Align the cable with the antenna and gently start tightening to ensure nothing gets stripped. Tighten the antenna cable onto the antenna. Once you have reached finger tight, using pliers or channel locks, tighten the antenna cable another 1/4 turn to ensure it is fully secure. If this connection is left at finger tight, water has a high chance of entering the connection. Installing the motor cable. The motor cable is the next connection. As with the antenna cable, ensure it is being installed above the seismic cable. The plug on the motor cable is keyed and only aligns in one orientation. Follow these steps when installing. Step 1. Align the key on the plug with the matching key on the motor. Step 2. Push the plug into the motor connection. Step 3. By hand, tighten only the collar of the plug. This will grab the threads on the motor side and tighten the assembly together. The plug should sit flush with the receiving plug on the motor. Installing the PV panel cable. The last connection will be for the PV panel. PV input 1 on the Robox is the only acceptable location for the PV panel to be connected. As with the motor cable, this has a keyed plug and can only be installed in one orientation. Be gentle when installing, as the plastic is prone to damage if mishandled. Follow these steps when installing. Step 1. Align keys on male-female plug. Step 2. Insert the PV plug fully into the solar input 1. Step 3. Spin the locking nut on the PV cable until you feel it lock in place. Please be sure not to over-tighten the locking nut. This causes damage to the PV plug, resulting in entire component replacement. Wire management. Now that all the cabling has been properly terminated to the correct locations, it is time to finalize the installation with controls wire management. Ensuring the wire management is done properly prevents future damage and wear, from cable snags to excessive rubbing on the cabling insulation. For this process, you will need 1 14-inch zip tie, 5 8-inch zip ties, and a pair of wire snips. It is recommended that the tracker is moved to eastern stow, as this is the furthest point the components will be from each other and will prevent any unintended tension on cables. Follow these steps when installing. Step 1. Secure the antenna and motor cable together. Allow the antenna cable to have slack. Step 2. Provide a loose bend to both cables and secure them to the top of the motor. By having the cables on the top of the motor, the risk of cables contacting seismic cables is greatly reduced. Step 3. Near the center point of the cables, between the motor and the row box, install a service loop approximately the size of an orange, 3 to 5 inches in diameter. Any bigger will result in there not being adequate slack when the row is in rotation, and any smaller may damage the cables. Step 4. Between the service loop and the row box, use another zip tie to secure the motor and antenna cables together. Clip the excess zip tie once wire management is complete. Next, we move on to the PV cable. If available, use the metal Hayco wire management clips used for the string wire management. If these are not available, zip tie the PV cable onto the purlin in the opening through an open pinhole. If there are any other areas where excessive slack is evident, install a zip tie. Installing the TerraTrak cable. Some projects require the installation of a TerraTrak AC unit, otherwise known as the TTAC. This box converts site AC power down to 24-volt DC and provides a backup power source for the row boxes. The TTAC will be installed on the gearbox A-frame and have AC running into it and a DC output coming out of the assembly. Follow these steps when installing. Step 1. Align keys on male-female plug. Step 2. Insert the PV plug fully into the solar input 2. Step 3. Spin the locking nut on the PV cable until you feel it lock in place. Be sure not to over-tighten the locking nut. This causes damage to the PV plug, resulting in entire component replacement. Install considerations. One consideration when doing this task is if the string wire has been installed, the controls cabling needs to be isolated from that, meaning the controls cabling cannot be interwoven with the string wire. The best orientation in this scenario is having the controls cabling above the string wiring. These are examples of acceptable installations. Here are examples of unacceptable installations. Let's build better together.